Welcome to Coffee Talk with Liquidshano 1973, an inspirational podcast about the ups and downs of life and everything in between. Here's your host, Shane Lakita.
Hey, good morning, folks. Good morning, all you Coffee Talk listeners, all the people that have subscribed to this podcast. Welcome to another episode here on a Tuesday. You know, Tuesday's funny, isn't it? Tuesday's one of those days where we are past Monday, which is usually one of those days where we either fall on our face or we go and try to dig ourselves out of whatever hole that we did caused either over the weekend or our first day of work or whatever, and we get past the Monday. But we're not necessarily to the Wednesday, which is the hump day, which is the day we look forward to going to the weekend. So it's that middle of the road day. And it's one of those days that I feel like is one of those lean-in days. It's one of those days where we sit back and we say to ourselves, you know, we're not quite at the over the hump day, and we're not quite past the Monday days, but it's a day where I know that I have to dig in, and I know that I've got to become my best version of me, and it takes work, and it takes effort, and I've got to keep on just really drilling down to the things that I really want to accomplish and really lean in on the situations that are going to cause me to be successful and that are going to have a positive impact on my journey. So I know how Tuesdays are, and I know how Tuesdays feel. So I share that with you because I feel that we're in this together and we're doing all this good stuff together. And that's how I feel about Tuesdays. So I don't know if you feel the same exact way, but welcome to the podcast. If you're a subscriber of the show, thank you so much for subscribing. If you are a brand new subscriber, welcome to the show. This is the format that we usually go with. It's just me, a microphone, and you. And wherever you're at, whether you're out walking around, or you're out doing things at the gym, or you're at work, or whatever you're doing, I'm having a personal conversation with you about my journey and about things that have been successful for me and things that I've learned along the way, and all those different little tidbits and little nuggets of information that we can share with each other for all of us to be successful. And the purpose of it isn't necessarily to lose weight, or the purpose of it isn't necessarily to be just so healthy. The purpose of this podcast is all about just being the best version of you. You digging in and you becoming the best version of you. And that's really the purpose of everything. So if you're a new subscriber, welcome aboard. All the episodes should be listed right out there on iTunes and any other platform that you're a part of. And you can go all the way back to days and years ago when we first started the podcast and I was able to just grab a microphone and go with it. It's much more less polished and different music choices and whatever else. Just like as you could tell with the intro here today, I don't know if you could tell, it's a new intro. A friend of mine put that together for me. They said that, hey, let's do a little intro for the podcast. I want to be able to help you out with it and see what you think of it. So I tried it out. I put it out there for you guys to hear it. And it'll be the same thing with the outro. And let me know what you think, guys. Let me know what you think. Email me at liquidshano1973@gmail.com. Let me know what you think of the intro, because I'm trying to be able to just make it more marketable to everybody that's out there that wants to listen to a podcast, right? That wants to listen to something that's going to inspire them, motivate them, and keep their attention even through the beginning section of an introduction or whatever. So, okay, so here we are, guys. It is Tuesday, and I'm going to get right into the content of what I was thinking about this morning. I posted this morning on Instagram, and I posted this morning on Facebook and all the other platforms. And there's soon one going to go out on TikTok and all the other social media platforms that I open up in the morning to be able to get my day going and really kick myself off in the right direction. Here's the interesting thing. I'm sitting there scrolling through the feeds and I'm scrolling through people's posts. And what I find is there's a lot of people that are out there that struggle with the people that are around them. Okay, let me tell you what I'm saying. So basically, people that you think are in your corner, people that you would assume are going to be in your corner, rooting for you, lifting you up, encouraging you, and setting you off on the right foot and putting you in the right direction in your journey of whatever you're trying to accomplish, are ending up not being those people. They're ending up being people that are actually detractors from your journey, or people that are breaking you down, or they are belittling your journey, or making you feel worse about the situation that you're in, or whatever it is, intentionally or unintentionally, it still has reverberating and ripple effects in your life. And I notice these in these posts where people will be like, I talked to my mom the other day about where I'm at with my weight loss and where I'm going. And even though it was mom trying to be Miss, I'm going to coach you, or I'm going to try to lift you up by giving you some tough love or whatever it was, but the words didn't come out that way. The words came out from the mom more around things like, well, you've done this 1,000 times before. I really hope you can stick to it. So she's probably thinking to herself, if I give her some tough love and I let her know, we've seen this before, you got to change some things about the way that you approach it if you want to be successful with it. And we go through this cycle of trying to be able to coach and be able to lead and be able to encourage when we're not necessarily coming across as an encouraging individual at that moment in time. So the way that the end user felt, the daughter felt, was, I felt defeated. I felt crushed. I felt diminished. I felt like I couldn't accomplish the things that I want to be able to accomplish based on the fact that somebody just said to me that I failed 1,000 times before. Now, she knew she failed before. She knew she's been on the roller coaster of health and weight loss. She knew all of these different aspects, but she's still putting one foot in front of the other to try to better herself each day, just trying to be one step ahead of the next, one step better than yesterday was. She's just trying to be able to do it. And when she hears these types of words from different people in the family, as in her own blood, sweat, and tears, the person that's been through probably more with that person than anybody else, and the mom's more than likely trying to come from a good place, it still comes across as degrading, as bashing, or defeating. Right? And there's many, as I'm scrolling through the feed, not only with this one situation with the mom and the daughter, but I can keep on going. Situations such as, I'm literally looking at this girl's post. She had posted a picture of herself because she felt good today. She had some makeup. She looked in the mirror. She said, you know what? I really feel pretty today. I feel like I can go and just do whatever I need to do. So I'm going to post a picture because today's one of those days that I feel good about myself, which is a rare thing these days. So she wanted to be able to put herself out there to say, here I am. I'm in a good spot. I'm feeling good. Big smile on the face. She was ready to go. And in the comments along this post, so much positive reinforcement. I'm not going to lie. It wasn't all negative, right? So it wasn't like bashing or whatever. It was more of around, you're beautiful, you're strong, keep moving forward. This is so great. I'm so happy to see you, all those things. But there were some one-off conversations, and she even had to respond to a couple of them where people were like, oh, Instagram filters look great. Instagram filters do wonders, don't they? I mean, literally. She just posted a picture of herself feeling good about herself, trying to be able to put that message out there in the world for people to have a positive influence, to know that make these posts, do these things, have this influence on the world, and trying to put positivity out there. And people couldn't even live in that space for just one single moment. They had to sit behind their keyboards or their tablets or their phones, and they had to judge, and they had to berate, and they had to bring someone down that was feeling good about themselves at that moment in time. Why? Because that's what we do. That's what human society does. That's what we do as people, where we live in a culture that's built around negativity, that's built around cynicism, that's built around all these different terms that you can think of, that lives in the space of, I can't do something rather than I can. So I felt for this girl. She put herself out there with a smile on her face to try to feel good about the day, to show I'm in a good spot today. And she was even sharing that this is a rarity these days with all the stuff going on in her life. She still put herself out there, and guess what? People still wanted to come in and try to break her down. Why? Why are we in this space that we live around people, or we accept the fact that negative people around us hurt us? Now, she couldn't really help that because it was on Instagram and it is a social media, and I get all that. But your circle of friends and those people that are around you are also in the same exact spot as some of those negative Nancys, some of those trolls that are out there, some of those folks that hop on there to be able to berate someone, to negatively influence someone or whatever. They're part of our circle as well. You know you have them in your life. You got a family member, a mom, a dad, a sister, a brother, or whatever, that maybe is jealous of your success. I know another situation that goes on. And some of the situations are personal for me as well. But if you think about this, you're successful at something that you're doing. Maybe you got a family member that's looking at you. You're successful. Maybe you're making six figures. Maybe you're out there doing everything you need to do to be able to fend or to supply for your family. You live in a nice environment. You live in a good neighborhood. You've really put yourself in a position to support your family and do the things that you want to do and raise a family the way that you want to do it. And you're successful and you feel good about where you're at with everything. But you have those family members that look at you and say, well, they're jealous, right? You know who they are. You know who these folks are because we all have them. And they may not be doing it to try to come through maliciously, or they're trying to come at you, headstrong and hard. What they're trying to do is be able to make themselves feel better because your situation is so great and their situation is not. And the jealousy kicks in where they try to bring you down to their level. So they start to talk to you in a condescending way. Oh, it must be nice to have this. Oh, it must be nice to have a little bit of cash. Or it must be nice to have a job that pays you well. Or it must be nice to live in a neighborhood like that. And then we get all these different people and voices and things that go on in our heads. And then we think to ourselves, here's the other part. So after we hear all these words and we live in this space where we're trying to be positive, we're trying to move forward, we're trying to be the best version of ourselves, to be a positive influence in the world. We keep moving forward. We're doing everything we can. And then you have those negative people around you, those negative influences. And so then what do? And here's what I do. I'm just sharing from my perspective. What I do a lot of times is I then try to either impress those people or bring them to a place where they can accept me for who I am. So then I take work. And I'm digging in and I'm thinking to myself, if they're not really happy with me or the situation that I'm in, or maybe they're jealous of me or whatever, I get it. I get the whole concept of it. But I still don't want them to be upset with me. And I still don't want them to be mad at me. And I still want to continue to work forward. And I still want to help them get to where they need to be. So you're doing double, triple, and quadruple the work to try to impress those people and do things for other folks rather than investing in yourself and celebrating in the place where you sit at that moment in time. We do it so often. I do it all the time. I literally am looking at other people all around me, and I'm always trying to please others around me rather than working on and fending for myself. Now that's, it's easier said than done. I get it. Family's family. It's blood. But when does it get to a point where we can stop accepting the negativity of our family members, like our moms, our dads, our brothers, our sisters, or whatever? When does it get to a point where we can literally look at them and say, you know what, I'm not going to deal with this anymore? When do we get to a point where we can then close ranks a little bit and be able to say, I'll deal with you at an arm's length as my family member, but I need to focus on me. And I need to focus on my family, my immediate family that I'm trying to support and do the things that I need to do. Stop trying to worry about what other people are thinking. This is something I have to tell myself all the time. There was an image that I saw, I think it was about 2 weeks ago or so. I was scrolling through and I saw this image on there that basically said, don't dim your light for other people's happiness. Don't dim the bright, beautiful, shining light that you have emanating from your body, from your soul, from your chi, from your karma, or whatever else, just based on the fact that somebody else is looking at you saying, yeah, you know what, I'm not really down with that. Who cares if they're not down with that? Who cares what their thoughts are? Who cares what they're thinking? It really doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things, because the only person that matters is you. The only person that matters is what you do for yourself, how you support yourself, how you encourage yourself, how you lift yourself up and you move forward one foot in front of the other to be a positive influence or to just plain flat be the person that you want to be. We have to get to a place where we can stop accepting what other people say about us, do about us, or feel about us. Or not even accepting it, but stop worrying about it. How often are we in a place that we are always worried about what other people are thinking? Now listen, I'm playing this whole space of podcasts and I'm playing in this whole space of social media. And I get it. I'm doing all of this. But one of the things that I will tell you is that I have to get to a place where I'm just putting out a positive message for everybody, and I don't want to be influenced by people that are negative or that look at me differently because of the way that I respond to things, or the way that I act, or the way that I do things. You have to look at the inventory of who you have around you, and you have to look at the inventory of what you're doing in general. Okay? So it upsets me. It upsets me when I see people that are making a positive impact in the world, or making a positive impact within the circle of friends that they may have. And even if it's just 2 or 3 people that they're trying to be able to make a positive impact, that's still an impact on the world. And it's still something that we are doing to be able to keep moving forward and just be the best version of you, right? So you want to live in the space of being a positive influence and be a person that's going to make positive impacts to people around you. How often do you get up in the morning, even on a negative day that you may not be feeling it, you may be feeling kind of down in the dumps, and you get up in the morning and you go, hey, you know what? I'm going to be a positive influence on people. I'm going to go give some high fives, give some love, give some hugs, go donate, go volunteer, go do something to be able to invest in other people, because that's the way it's going to make me feel better, and I need to bring myself out of the muck. The way of making yourself feel better shouldn't be to bring other people down. The way of making yourself feel better should be to go lift people up. It should be just the opposite. But you know what? It takes a lot more work to be able to go and lift people up rather than break people down. You know, they always say we live in this world of cynicism and negativity and all this stuff. And it's easy to live in the space of that cynicism. It's easy to live in the space that I'm going to be a negative Nancy. I'm going to complain about everything. I'm not going to make changes for the better. And I'm going to live in this space where I'm just going to go with the flow and complain like everybody else in the world is doing. Instead, making positive change and doing the things that are going to make change for the better. It's hard to make change. Listen, we as many of you know, one of the most common adages that we have that's been around for years and years and years are people are resistant to change. People don't like change for the most part. They don't. But the people that embrace change, the people that live in the space that I know that change is going to happen, I know change is necessary, I know change is something that for us to be able to grow and move forward and be able to be the best everything around us, change has to happen. When we sit stagnant, that's just exactly what happens. We sit stagnant. We don't grow. We don't enhance our lives. We don't enhance the world. We just start to rot and we start to fade away because we're sitting stagnant. And the amount of time that we have on this earth is so short when you really look at the grand scheme of things that you've got to work on making sure that you're maximizing your life. Maximize it. Take whatever small snapshot of time that we have and maximize everything you can do about what you're trying to do and where you're living at that moment in time. So don't let the negative naysayers be a detractor from your journey. Don't let them be somebody that's going to squelch your volume, dim your light. All the different little euphemisms or little words that I can use to be able to describe that how I'm feeling right now. Because your light should be shining bright. I don't care if you are in a place where you are at the bottom of the barrel and you are an addict and you feel like life has just caved in and it's one of your first or second days in rehab or whatever, right? You feel low, you feel dirty, you feel just, oh man, I feel like I'm a failure. I don't care if you are even at that place in your life or you are at financial ruins. You've been through bankruptcy. You've got all these collectors after you. You got all this different stuff. You're losing all your different items, personal stuff, but more around items like cars or different stuff like that, or cards, or you got collections or whatever. And you feel like you're at the bottom of your barrel with that also. It doesn't matter because you still have a light that needs to shine. You still can be a positive impact and influence on people, even at your darkest hour. But it takes hard work and dedication to do it. And it doesn't make it easier when you have people around you that want to be able to berate you or squelch that light when you're trying to be able to come out of the darkness. You guys all know what I'm talking about here. We have those people in our lives. Is it a friend? Is it a family member? Is it a coworker? Is it a boss? Because there's another one. I've read many situations where people are at jobs that they don't like and jobs that they can't stand. And they're afraid to have a conversation with their boss because they're afraid of being fired. And they're afraid of expressing themselves to whoever it is. And they live in this place of just, it feels like the world is crumbling all around them and they don't feel like they could shine. They don't feel like they could be bright. They feel like they're just squelched in every way and they're berated or they're belittled in whatever situation that comes around. And they don't try to go get another job because they feel like it's the only thing that they're worthy of doing. And they don't make the change to be able to go somewhere else and do something different because they feel like this is all I know. Or this pays the bills. Or I can't go anywhere else because I don't think I could really start off at the bottom of the ladder and move my way up again. I don't feel like I'm worthy enough walking in there with some clout and some machismo to be able to say this is what I'm worth. Because it takes work to do that. It takes dedication. It takes time. It takes accepting of change. It takes us being able to believe in ourselves to be able to go and do that kind of stuff. And lastly, another situation you can think of are people that are in abusive relationships. I mean, think about that. You're in a relationship with somebody that verbally or physically abuses you daily, day in, day out, makes you feel like you're the worst thing in the whole entire world. And all you know of and all you can think of is getting out of that relationship, but you can't do it. Why? Because you feel that that's all you're worth. You feel that at that moment in time, that whatever situation that you're in is all that you're worth because that's the normal. That's what you've been used to. That's what you've been trained to tell yourself. This is what I have to accept as true or accept as being reality, when in all actuality, it's not. Anybody that's been in an abusive relationship, that has stepped out of the abusive relationship into a wholesome relationship, a relationship that is full of love and adoration and encouragement and all those things, what a lifesaver that is, correct? If you know anybody or yourself have been through that, you know what I'm talking about. You go from the extreme of being verbally or mentally or physically abused in a relationship, and you get into one that the person looks at you with adoring eyes and treats you like with a respect level that you deserve. It's night and day. And it feels so good to be in that situation where you feel like I'm worthy of something. So to summarize everything, okay, to put this all together, to wrap it all up, stand up for yourself. Don't let people squelch your light. Okay? Don't let folks dim it. Go out and be the positive influence, even if you got to go against the grain and go against what everybody else is doing. If you have somebody that looks at you, that was the other part that I put on the post on the blog. I put on there, and this is another one of my personal ones for me. I'm a very positive person. So whenever somebody comes to me with a negative situation or a situation that doesn't have any kind of, solutions, and they want to park in the space of just being negative, and I come to the table of, hey, let's think about this. Let's think about a can-do attitude. Let's think about what we can accomplish and not necessarily park in the space of what we can't accomplish. Let's move this direction like you guys read on all my coffee talks or even on the podcast. And I have people that literally will say to me, well, dude, why are you being so positive? Like, I don't want to hear that right now. It's not about Pollyanna. I don't want to hear, oh, it's okay, man. We're all good to go. I don't want to hear that. I want to be negative right now, which is so unhealthy, to be honest with you. But that's okay. I get it. But those are the people that I need to say, okay, if that's the place you want to park in every situation and be a negative Nancy or a negative person around everything like that, push them off to the side, move on, and know your worth, and get rid of them. They got to go. We can't be around those folks. You need positive influencers. You need people that are going to be supporters, encouragers, and uplifters for you. That's what you need. And I need that. We all need that. And if we don't have that in our lives, it's time today to start making some changes. It's time today to start taking inventory of what you have in your life, the people that are around you and the influences that you have. And you need to start to rid yourself or at least buffer some of the situations, because you can't get rid of family. We know that, right? But you can disassociate yourself. You can push an arm's length. You can set boundaries. You're allowed to do that. because you're trying to work on your life and your situation. And when you have unhealthy situations around you, your life then becomes unhealthy. In the long run, family will accept that. Family will understand when they see the better version of you and they see where you're at. And if they're not willing to accept it, bye, Felicia. It's time to go. I don't want to be around you. You don't need to be around me. We're all set. We're good to go. I mean, think about that, right? That's hard to do with family. You can't just disassociate a lot of times. You can't just say, I'm done with you. But you can set boundaries. And you can let them know, I'm not going to put up with it anymore. I'm not going to put up with your mental abuse. I'm not going to put up with your verbal berating. No more. I'm not going to do it because I need to surround myself with people that support me and lift me up and get me to where I have to get to. So I hope that today, after I read all those posts, I'm hoping that some of this helps you because it helps me get my thoughts out there and also get my mind right and tight, right? If I'm on a podcast or I'm doing this different stuff, there are people that don't like the version that I bring to the table. They don't like the fact that I'm going out there and just recording stuff. They don't like the fact that I'm selling merchandise through the podcast or I'm trying to make it happen on the back end to be able to be successful and do that stuff. They don't like that. They don't like it because they want to see me fail. They want to see me broken down. They want the negativity. They want the piece of, well, why does he have the right to be successful and I don't have the right to be successful? What gives him the right to do all the things that he wants to do, but I can't do that, right? So all around me, I have that, and it surrounds me. So these types of things, like I'm doing on this podcast with you, helps me to get in the right frame of mind, the right direction, to know that I'm going to continue to be a positive influence with all of you and with everybody around me, with everything that I do, because that's the only way that I know how to be, and I want to be able to live my authentic life and do the things that I have to do. So be authentic. Don't let somebody shut you down. Don't let somebody be the dimmer of your light, okay? We'll talk later. Thank you so much for listening to the Coffee Talk with Liquidshano 1973 podcast. If you'd like to become a patron of the show, please go to www.patreon.com/liquidcoffeetalk to join. Also, you can find me on all different social media platforms like Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook just by looking for @Liquidshano 1973. And lastly, if you get a chance, please hop over to iTunes and leave the podcast a rating and some feedback on it. We would truly appreciate it. So we'll see you on the next podcast.